Hi guys! Welcome to another video. I thought today I'm gonna show you a sketchbook that I finished recently, which is a Hahnemühle watercolor book. It's a kind of 200 GSM type paper, a cellulose paper, but still alright. It's not super great, but it's also not bad. It's perfect for a sketchbook, I would say. So I started this sketchbook in May last year, so it took me about 1.5 years to finish this one. And yeah, I'm slow with sketchbooks because first of all, I didn't used to use sketchbooks. In the past I always used like loose paper, and I'm still kind of new to this whole sketchbook thing. Well, 1.5 years new, so kind of. And I have a bit of a problem, and the problem is this. These are not even all my sketchbooks, so so I work in some of them a little while, and then I move on to something else, and then I come back, and yeah, that kind of thing. So I specifically bought this sketchbook because I wanted to use water-soluble graphite, and well, you need watercolor paper for it, kind of, so that was very much at the very beginning when I was starting to draw again, and I had these sort of drawings with the clown moon and the weird mountains. Yeah, don't ask too many questions. So this one was the second thing I drew in this, and yeah, I was hesitant about this for a while, and it took me a long time to decide on it. I'm not so sure about it now, but it's okay. And this I actually finished a lot later. This was this year, actually. There was an empty page here, and I just didn't fill it for a very long time. It's in the same style as all my Inktober drawings from last year, and yeah, it's similar, so well. Again, a long time ago, I had no idea what masking tape was, apparently, and also not what a flat wash is. Well, not sure I've entirely improved there, but well, it's a bit better than this. Oh, and yeah, these are cute little axolotls, and I wanted to draw a few of them, and this was the perfect opportunity. And I love this guy, just, going into space and all. And then you can see the progression here. Here's the next one. This one was later. Not too much later, but later. No masking tape, and look at this mess here. Oh well, it's alright. And I also used to do a lot more shading with pen, even though I wanted to do watercolor. Strange, but I changed all that now. I still love the face of this guy. The eyes are really funny. Then this was a lot later, like several months later. So this one is Rufus and his uncle, and they're looking at the stars, and this is an old story. I'm not sure I can keep this backstory. For those of you who are new here, Rufus will be the character of my comic, and the backstory we came up with on Twitter together, so I'm not sure I can keep all of it for the comic, but this one was from that collaborative effort. And this spread is a bit, there was only this one here, and the whole rest of the spread was empty for a very long time. And this is a townhouse in Buenos Aires. And then I drew this one, which is more of a villa in Germany, I think. And then sometime this year, not so long ago, less than a month ago, I think, I drew this in the same style because there was a gap here, and these ginkgo trees. And the ginkgo trees are gonna be part of my comic, which is why I wanted to draw ginkgo trees. This one was the next, and these bears are up to no good, you can imagine. Water is hard, but it's kind of okay. I don't know. And well, I think they're planning some sort of heist, I suppose. Here I covered something up, and I don't know, it was just a stain, I believe, and I wanted to see how well the Alteza gouache covers stuff, and it's okay. I like the colors in this one. I just stuck this one in here because there was a gap, and I had this from a video about gouache I did already quite a while ago. Well, here you see my first steps with gouache. I was always rather bad at gouache, so I'm still practicing, and this one was the first, and it was a monochrome study. And then I went into 2 colors, trying to use different color schemes, and a bit crazy, to be honest. And not so successful, I think. But I like this guy. And this is actually the same fox as this one here. And this is from my first sketchbook tour. If you've seen that, you know this guy. That was probably my first really successful watercolor with an animal, so I really like this one. And I drew this one not so long after. So here the fox is still thinking, and this is what happens when you actually try the mushrooms. So kids, don't do this at home. Now here, if you look at the background, I just gave up on it, pretty much. I just couldn't make it look realistic, so I went all the way to unrealistic. And the frog is the only thing that worked out in this. It was a real struggle, this one. But I think I learned a lot, so it was worthwhile. Here's some landscape studies. Seriously overworked, but I tried to figure out how to get like blending and gouache, and I learned some things in this, and it was useful, although not very successful. And this one I painted while I was on the phone with my brother. And I don't know how long this took me, like 1.5 hours, and there's way too much detail in this. I should have simplified this a lot. But, well, that's just what you do when you try to draw something as complex as this. Here, this is, I think, the first gouache study that I thought was really successful. And I really, really like this. It's not too overworked, and there's some detail in it, and still loose, but tight enough here, and I like how this turned out. This is probably one of my favorites in this one, which is also why she is painting this, I suppose. Now here's some of my favorites. These are a bit funny. The bear is riding a... Hello, dog. Ruff. Yeah, this one is really cute. It's a bear riding a caterpillar. I thought in my world, you know, what would a bear be riding? Definitely not horses, that would be cruel, so... A caterpillar? If they're really, really big, perhaps. Yeah, I thought it was a, you know, nice upside down thing. I liked it conceptually. And, well, a landscape study in the background with watercolors. Then here, a couple of raccoon boys playing at the playground, which is a bit scary. This one is actually a real playground, without the teeth, but equally weird. And the shape is, you know, not an accident. So I saw a picture of this and thought, I have to make a painting with this. Here, another one of my favorites. This was by request of a friend on Twitter, Kiki, and he lives in the Arizona desert, and he wanted something in the Arizona desert with an animal that is local wildlife, so I decided on a bobcat, and it also was supposed to have his favorite camera, which is a Mamiya Super 23. That's a Mamiya Press type thing. I picked a landscape to paint from there and designed this character, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. The camera is even recognizable. I'm very proud of that. I actually have a camera like this now too, so I've kind of drawn my own camera. So here we have the bear and the cat, which is a recurrent theme. If you see the bear and the cat, it's usually my husband and I. My husband, myself. At that point I hadn't yet really made a cat character properly, so I decided on a little cat sleeping there. And my husband with his usual issue of collecting a lot of books. So it's a bit of a, joke, but I hope he doesn't mind. So this is obviously a play on the folktale Little Red Riding Hood. Everyone knows that one. And yeah, I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if Little Red Riding Hood was actually a wolf? And then the ending of it, the story, would be a lot more cruel, I suppose. I really like how this one turned out. And also the little mushrooms here. Yeah, I like that. The lighting. I'm quite proud of the lighting here. And yeah, this spread took me quite a while too. This was for the video about gouache I made. And here you can see the typical problem I have with gouache. The skies are just not as fluid and natural as with watercolor. Well, it's a practice thing perhaps, and it's also the medium, and yeah. But generally I'm okay with this. It's not for a gouache thing, it's not too bad, considering my skill level. And here this one was a bit later, and I thought it was a scene that was maybe back here. This was, by the way, done with gold colors, so it's a bit shiny. You can't really see it on camera, but yeah, it's nice. Then here, a little bit of a disaster spread again. More gouache. The sky, I prefer watercolor skies as always, but I quite like this. This one I thought worked pretty well, so I'm happy with this. And here on this page, I've tried to cover something up, which was very bad. And I put some white acrylic over it, which wasn't the best choice. And then I didn't have anything to paint over that. Silly. In the end I tried Posca pens, but I don't really have enough colors for making any gradients much, and for landscape studies maybe not the right thing. Here it works, the other two not so much, but it was a good experience, I suppose. Learned a thing or two, like not using Posca pens for those kinds of landscape studies perhaps. Yeah, you live, you learn. Now here's another play on the small versus big, and this is a bear riding a salmon. Yeah, I just thought it was an interesting idea. And I wanted to draw the bear underwater and use a bit of the shiny colors here. You can see the shine. Shiny. Yeah, I like how this one turned out. And then this one here was actually a lot later, again this year. One of the last pages I filled, again revisiting the diver bear. He's exploring some underwater landscape with a camera. Of course, I would take my camera too. Again, this spread, this one was a lot earlier than the other page. This one was the question, what would happen to the dogs if humans disappeared? And I decided that octopi would take care of them. And, well, the dog isn't quite sure about it. I think his ears tell the story. Yeah, it was a funny idea, and just another play on the landscape I wanted to practice. This is pretty much a landscape painting sketchbook, if you haven't noticed already. Lots of landscapes, and I like those. But I always try to put some interesting characters in it, unless it's just a plain study. And these two were done this year. These were the last two paintings I did in the sketchbook. This was the last one. Yeah, I'm a lot happier with these because they're a bit more loose and not as controlled perhaps, and there's a bit more expression going on. I thought this one turned out quite nicely and wasn't too obsessed with the detail, so I thought that was a success. But I also like the color scheme. There's some Paraline Violet in this, which gives it this nice feel. I really like this color combination. And this one is actually the end. So you might be wondering, hey, this is only halfway through, right? But the rest of the sketchbook I actually used for color notes. I was studying color theory and watercolor pigments and all of that sort of thing. So this is full of color wheels and, you know, stuff like this, with all the different pigment names and, yeah, studying. So this was actually the last spread, and I started with the inking of this one because I had this idea, and then I couldn't quite figure out the lighting, so I did this color study here, Room at Night, and you see it's a bit more blue than this, because I decided that I wanted to have the color be concentrated here and not have so much blue in this to distract. Yeah, it was this, and then this. And this was actually based on a dream I had. Well, more of a nightmare, I have to say. There were some crocodiles that wanted to talk about philosophy with me, and yeah, that was a bit scary apparently. And yeah, I decided to make this painting of it because I found it a bit funny, the idea. And you know, I thought a bit like Jehovah's Witnesses coming to the door and wanting to have a conversation. These crocodiles are kind of the same. I'm pretty happy with how this one turned out. The lighting down here, I like that. And yeah, this was the last one. I painted this right after this one. I didn't even let my paints dry on the palette. I just went straight into this because I thought, why not finish this? And this I like a lot. It's very loose and I like that. I think it took me only like half an hour or something like that. And I wanted to have quick study practice here. So this is it. My third finished sketchbook. But wait a minute, you might ask, where's the second one? You haven't really seen the second one on this channel yet because it is very tiny. But yeah, I wasn't sure whether I wanted to make a sketchbook tour for all my little sketchbooks or just the one. So in the end I didn't make it. Maybe one day I'll make it. These are very cute, so watch out for that one. Might be coming soon, perhaps even. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with how my sketchbook turned out. There are a few highlights like this one, and also the salmon, yeah, of course, and the Little Red Riding Hood. So yeah, I like a lot of them, really. Probably my favorite is this one and Little Red Riding Hood. But yes, I'm very happy with it. The sketchbook itself, in case you're wondering, is actually quite nice. The watercolor paper is not that great, but it holds up alright, and you can blend alright too, so even wet and wet works fine, as you can see here. And I'm happy with it. I have a bunch of these, most of them smaller, like this one, and I'm working on another one, just exactly the same. This is A6, this is A5. So yes, I would definitely buy this sketchbook again. In fact, I've bought it 3 times in different formats. But since I like to torture myself, I wanted to try something new and different. And this is a moleskin one, which is my next one. Nothing in there yet. It's completely clean and empty. And that's gonna be my next one of this size. You can already see it's a bit different in format. I don't know whether this paper's better or this, and I'm gonna find out. I hope I'm gonna like it as much as this one, or I'm gonna be a bit annoyed. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this sketchbook tour, and if you did, then please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It really helps out my channel, so I appreciate it always. And yeah, also let me know whether you've tried a sketchbook or what your favorite sketchbook is for watercolor, because I'm always looking for improvement. This is already quite alright, but yeah, I'm trying. That's why I bought a different one this time. And well, I hope to see you soon for another video. Bye!